Every time I'm doing something that's not essential, I'm giving up on something that is essential. Greg McKeown. My friends, that is why we work so hard to take our charts, hone them down into the essence of what we need. No more, no less. Keep it simple and straightforward. Let's jump into these charts. We see stocks, bonds, and Bitcoin are up for the day. Gold is our only downer, and it's just barely down. But look, just keeps on keeping on. The S&P up 0.81%. This is not a ceiling that it tried to be. It has just blown through it. So we are killing it. We will oops, I meant to get rid of it. There we go. We're done. It just keeps on trying to move up and probably will, at least through the election, depending on which way it goes. We can see the last 2 weeks we had average volume, missed a week, and then, of course, on that first week where this latest move took off, we had a little bit above average volume, but things just continue to crank on up. We look at where we are on the NASDAQ 100. It too continues to move up. We don't need what may have been a ceiling because it ain't. Things just keep on going. And as I told you, what have I been saying this whole time? It is an election year. The party in power, whether it's a Republican or Democrat administration, they are sure going to do all they can do with all the apparatus of state to keep the charts moving up. The next point we might have for a ceiling, at least, on the NASDAQ 100, I guess maybe I knocked that out too soon. We're going to go ahead and put our horizontal ray back up, but we're going to put it at where things topped out previously. We don't have that, and I have no idea what I just did then. Whatever it was, I didn't mean to do it. Let's stretch that back out and get it in the right place. Okay, so again, the NASDAQ 100, of course, hit its high back on the 8th of July, unlike the S&P, which, of course, back in July hit a high, moved down, but then had moved, of course, higher than that. The NASDAQ has not caught up yet with where it was back on that week beginning the 8th of July. But as we can see, two-day chart heading up, half-day chart heading up, same on the S&P and the NASDAQ 100, just continuing to move up with higher highs. Let's go to 20-year U.S. government bonds. Now, it was up just a smidgen today, 0.06%. You can see we're there at the end of the day. It caught up a little bit. But as far as where we are on the two-day chart, representing Friday and Monday, still heading down. Of course, the weekly heading down. We have already hit a lower low this week than last week. And of course, as we look back at the prior 2 weeks, above average volume both weeks, and we have been short on 20-year U.S. government bonds the entire time. Of course, friends, how do you do that? Well, that is Tango Bravo Foxtrot. We talk again about the ins and outs of, we have a great training on it, all sorts of things on the ins and outs of Tango Bravo Foxtrot. That is the ProShares single short of Treasury bonds. It goes up when Treasury bonds goes down, but of course with inverse funds you have higher fees, you have them revaluing often, and that can compound your losses. So you want to practice trade that kind of stuff to see if you actually like it. The nice thing, it gives you choices when you can read a chart and it's moving in the opposite direction of the underlying equity. So things, again, a little down for the day when it comes to the down move. In other words, 20-year U.S. government bonds was up for the day 0.07%. So just barely, almost flat, but we're still short. We'll keep an eye on that. What about gold? Gold pulling back a little bit, 0.17% for the day. Again, just barely. This latest two-day candle is a green one after 4 days of pushing through that weekly trend line. We could try redrawing the trend line, almost flattening it. I don't know, it looks like gold is really slowing down, you can see, for the last 4 weeks as things drag along sideways. So we will keep an eye on gold. You know, I am just curious about silver. Let's take a look at SLV. See where silver is. Yes, silver slowing also. What about GDX? That is the gold miners. Let's see where they are. And of course, same here. They actually peaked much higher all the way back on the 23rd of September and have fallen off quite a bit. So we'll keep our eye on gold, see if it's going to be turning around and heading down, or if it's just taking its breath for more up moves. Lastly, we'll take a look at Bitcoin swinging up 4.46%. 2 days of strong up movement. That was Friday and Monday. Of course, we had a spinning top on the week beginning. That's going into 3 weeks ago. That was on the week beginning the 30th of September. Then last week, the 7th of October, we had a doji. We had about average volume those weeks, not quite on that week beginning 30th of September, but things are peaking up. And in fact, the prior high for the week, the last decent up week we had on September 23, beginning then, the high was 75.34. So far this week, 75.11. So getting close to that 75.34 already, as things rocketing up in the morning, pulling back just a little bit in the afternoon, but overall 4.46%. So we'll see where Bitcoin's going to be heading over the course of this next week. When you have questions, problems, concerns, we're always happy to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, cw@chartingwealth.com. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.